Days of Our Lives proves to be a day like no other, a day charged with emotional reunions, long-simmering resentment, unexpected romantic entanglements, and tender moments of remembrance. Hospital hallways and healing wounds in Salem, the walls of University Hospital echo with a different kind of tension. Kate Roberts, Lauren Koslow, sits at the bedside of her son, Philip Kyriakis, Jean-Paul Lavoisier, who remains unconscious after a savage beating. Kate, who has always walked the line between fierce independence and unrelenting motherly devotion, pleads with him to wake up. Her voice trembles, not just from worry, but from guilt and a desperate hope that she won't lose him again. In another wing of the hospital, Tate is struggling with the loss of his grandfather, John Black. Devastated, he finds comfort in Holly Jonas, Ashley Puzimis, whose gentle support is just the balm he needs. Their connection, once casual, now deepens under the weight of shared sorrow. Sophia Choi, Rachel Boyd, who's nearing the end of her pregnancy, joins them on a tour of the hospital's birthing facilities with Amy. The trio is attempting to focus on new life while processing the sting of death, a reminder that even as we say goodbye to one generation, another begins. But Amy, still uncertain about the adoption plans, seems emotionally distant. Could a recent conversation with Melinda Trask, Tina Huang, soften her stance? The question lingers, and the outcome may shape the future of more than one child. The return of Jennifer Horton, Melissa Reeves, and Jack Devereaux, Matthew Ashford, to Salem was supposed to be somber but peaceful. They came back to mourn the passing of John Black, a man they both deeply respected and admired. But grief is never clean in Salem. Instead of finding solace, Jennifer finds fury. Word spreads like wildfire that Chad DiMera, her former son-in-law and the widower of her beloved daughter Abigail, is out on a charity date with Kat, the woman who had the audacity to impersonate Abigail not long ago. It was meant to be a harmless event, even altruistic in nature, and Chad didn't even bid for the date himself. That was E.J. DiMera's doing. But none of that matters to Jennifer. To her, this is not just a date, it's a betrayal. The memory of Abigail is still fresh and raw. Seeing Chad, who she had come to regard as family, spending time with a woman who dredged up so much trauma for her family sends Jennifer spiraling. She vents to Jack, her lifelong partner and co-warrior in so many past battles. And though Jack tries to reason with her, the emotional tempest inside Jennifer is not easily calmed. She's already confronted Kat once in the past, now she's ready to do it again, and this time, she's not holding back. Family ties and fragile truths. Bo and Hope's emotional moment while Jennifer rages, another reunion brews with a different kind of fire. Bo Brady, Peter Reckel, whose return from the presumed dead stunned Salem to its core, finally tells Hope, Christian Alfonso, that his love for her, the love that has anchored generations of fans, is as strong as ever. Their love story, once thought concluded in tragedy, now gets a new breath of life. But it's complicated. Are they still married? Divorced? Emotionally, they're still entwined. Legally, things are murky. But for Bo, none of that matters. His love for his fancy face endures, and he shares this with Hope in a heartfelt moment that brings both of them, and viewers, to tears. Together, they visit with their children, Sean and Sierra, and Bo even meets his grandson, named after him, little Bo holding the child in his arms. Bo is overwhelmed by what could have been and what still might be. Then there's Addie Horton Williams, the sweet granddaughter bearing a name steeped in family history. These are the moments that remind us how precious family is, and how much time lost can still be reclaimed, if only for a while. Stephanie's secret spilled, the manuscript that won't stay hidden amidst all this emotional weight, another storm brews, this time in the literary world. Stephanie Johnson, Abigail Klein, who confided in Alex Kyriakis, Robert Scott Wilson. That she never wanted her personal manuscript published, is blindsided when she learns he handed it to none other than Kate Roberts. Now, the once private manuscript, a searing and personal story, is circulating behind her back. How will Stephanie respond to such a breach of trust? Alex meant well, or so he claims, but intentions don't always equal forgiveness. With emotions already running high across town, this betrayal could be the final straw in a fragile relationship. Doug's conversation, Gobby's clash, and the whisper of scandal even in his twilight years, Doug Williams, Bill Hayes, remains a beacon of wisdom, and sometimes mischief. This week, he has a surprising heart-to-heart with Leo Stark, Greg Ricart, a conversation that may hint at more than meets the eye. Has Doug realized something scandalous? Could he be on the verge of uncovering that Leo is involved, perhaps intimately, with his own granddaughter, Ariana Horton, Marissa Reyes? Meanwhile, Gabby Hernandez, Sherry Jimenez, is once again at odds with Ariana. Their mother-daughter relationship has always been fiery, but lately, it's bordering on explosive. Gabby is strong-willed and stubborn, and Ariana has inherited that same fire, now turned against her mother in bitter exchanges that leave both women emotionally raw. Mourning and memories, Marlena's unbearable grief, and through it all, Marlena Evans, Deidre Hall, tries to hold herself together following the death of her beloved John Black. But how can one truly console a woman who has lost the man she loved for most of her life? Carrie, her daughter, tries, but even she knows that Marlena's grief is a private, endless ocean, deep and dark. As funeral preparations continue and old friends return to say goodbye, it becomes clear that Salem isn't just mourning a man. It's mourning an era. John Black stood for something: integrity, romance, strength. And his loss leaves a hole that can't easily be filled. Conclusion: in Salem, the past is never gone. June 6th is a whirlwind of love lost, love rediscovered, and secrets that refuse to stay buried. For longtime fans, this day is a vivid reminder that in days of our lives, emotions aren't just written, they're lived. Families clash, reconcile, and sometimes break beyond repair. But always, the heartbeat of Salem continues. As old wounds are reopened and new stories begin, one thing is clear. The people of Salem may falter, but they never stop fighting, for love, for truth, and for each other. A farewell to John Black. John Black's passing has left a void in Salem that's impossible to ignore. A man of strength, charm, and complexity, John was a pillar for his family and friends. His funeral, likely to be held on Friday, June 13th, though it may spill over from Thursday into the following week, will be a gathering of sorrow and reflection. The town's church, with its stained glass windows casting soft light on pews filled with mourners, will host this somber occasion. Expect tissues to be passed and memories shared as Salem honors a man who touched so many lives. But this funeral is more than a goodbye, it's a catalyst. It's bringing people back to Salem, some of whom haven't walked its streets in years. From the beginning of the week until June 12th, the town will see an influx of returning faces, each carrying their own burdens and hopes. Among them are Anna and Tony D. Mera, whose elegance and complicated pasts always stir the pot. Their arrival promises whispered conversations in the town square and curious glances from neighbors wondering what their return means for Salem's delicate balance. The Brady family's return. The Brady family, a cornerstone of Salem's history, is also making its way back. Beau Brady, with his rugged determination, will return alongside his wife, Hope, their son Sean, and daughter Sierra. Their homecoming is bittersweet, overshadowed by John's death and Beau's heavy heart. Beau, who survived dangers that claimed John's life, is wrestling with survivor's guilt. You can almost picture him standing at the edge of Salem's pier, staring out at the water, his brow furrowed as he questions why he was spared. His family, sensing his pain, will rally around him, but Beau's journey to find peace will be one to watch. Hope, ever the optimist, will likely try to hold the family together, her warm smile hiding her own grief. Sean and Sierra, now grown and navigating their own lives, will bring their perspectives to the table, perhaps clashing with their parents as they process John's loss. The Brady family's dynamic, loving yet fraught with tension, will add depth to the week's events, reminding us why Salem stories resonate so deeply. Sammy Brady's dramatic return. And then there's Sammy Brady. Word around Salem is that Sammy, with her fiery spirit and knack for stirring up trouble, is on her way back. Her return is sure to send shockwaves through the town, especially given the secrets swirling around her family. One question looms large: will Sammy's daughter, Sydney DiMera, accompany her? And if so, will the show's writers age Sydney rapidly, transforming her into a teenager overnight, a soap opera trick known as SORA's, soap opera rapid aging syndrome? If Sydney arrives as a teen, expect her to bring her own drama, perhaps clashing with her mother or uncovering secrets that Sammy would rather keep buried. Sammy's homecoming also raises questions about her relationship with E.J. DiMera, her former flame and a man entangled in his own web of loyalties. E.J. is fiercely protective of his son, Johnny, who was seen by Rachel Black holding a gun, a detail that could spell trouble. Will E.J. confide in Sammy about this incident, risking her wrath, or will he keep it close to his chest? Sammy, never one to stay out of the fray, might dig into the truth herself, setting the stage for explosive confrontations. Adding to the intrigue is Belle Black, John's daughter, who's grappling with her father's loss. John's death has forced Belle to reevaluate her life, particularly her ties to E.J. She's stepping back from him, sensing that her father wouldn't approve of their connection. Picture Belle sitting alone in her childhood home, flipping through old photos of John, tears in her eyes as she wonders what he'd want for her. Her journey to honor her father's memory while navigating her own path will tug at heartstrings, especially for those of us who've watched Belle grow up in Salem. Unresolved mysteries and new beginnings. While the funeral dominates the week, other stories are simmering beneath the surface. Xander Cook, a man with a knack for trouble, remains a wild card. His capture, which seemed imminent, might be delayed as Salem focuses on John's farewell. Meanwhile, Philip Kyriakis, who's been in a coma, is at the center of a heartbreaking subplot. His mother, Kate Roberts, pleaded with him to wake up last Friday, her voice breaking as she sat by his hospital bed. Will her love and desperation pull Philip back to consciousness, or will his recovery be pushed to the following week? Adding a layer of complexity, Philip, if he awakens, has reportedly refused to prosecute those responsible for his injuries, despite their severity. This decision hints at a deeper story, perhaps one of forgiveness, loyalty, or a secret Philip's keeping even from his mother. Kate, a fierce protector, won't let this go easily, and her determination to uncover the truth could lead to unexpected alliances or confrontations. A week to remember in Salem. As the week of June 9th unfolds, Salem will be a town transformed by grief, reunion, and the promise of new beginnings. John Black's funeral will serve as a focal point, but it's the ripple effects, Beau's guilt, Sammy's return, Belle's soul-searching, and the unresolved fates of Xander and Philip, that will keep us glued to our screens. The town streets, from the cozy Brady pub to the elegant DiMera mansion, will hum with emotion and intrigue, reminding us why Days of Our Lives has captured hearts for decades.